Recording in progress. Got it. Okay, it's advising me.
This is Jack Vaughn. Here I am today. I'm with my old pal, Jim Haas. And Jim and I go back a ways. We're both members of the Stumps Band of Racine, Wisconsin. And so many roads, Jim, we've been on. And, you know, you've always been a heck of a record collector. And we've always been able to share an interest in music, very diverse. And you are the father of diversity and music in my pantheon.
One of the brothers in arms.
Right on. I remember you had those big speakers. You had an apartment that was the room was as big as a pantry, and you had these two things that were each as big as a stove.
Somebody built those. I picked them up at a Goodwill.
Yeah. And always an interesting collection. Now, do you remember our early days in our town, Racine, Wisconsin? I remember you could get records at pennies, and you could get records at the Kroger and Piggly Wiggly. But you had to dig.
Those I don't recall, but Zares was the treasure trove for me, because near the checkout counter there'd be a rack of records and they'd be 44 cents. Things that other companies couldn't give away that end up as Zares. And I'd pick up Junior Parker and Memphis Slim and some good stuff there.
And so that's how it all got started.
I think it started. That came as my education grew. I wouldn't know Memphis Slim from Alley Oop, you know, at those early high school days, but probably got started with listening to music that my older brothers brought home, rock and roll and folk music. And then finally one day, and maybe even with you, I don't recall, but wandered into Soulville, best record shop in Racine, Wisconsin has ever been and always will be. And was educated by the proprietor and his sidekick, Jack Hennekins, and first hippie I'd seen in Racine, Wisconsin, Norman Wilde. Yeah.
Yes. Well, he used to turn me on to records. I'd buy an LP like the Blues Project with a white blues band, and it was a good record. Mm-hmm. And but he'd say, "Oh man, you know, the original stuff is better." And he'd put in you got a free 45 if you bought an LP, and he would find something soulful, often a promo record. I don't think Jack wanted the
no, he wasn't giving away the stuff he could sell.
Way, but he did give me Howlin' Wolf, Chuck Berry, bunch of stuff.
It's an interesting question. I mean, I wonder where Norman got his education from. He was only a few years older than us, but he came from Toma, Wisconsin, some little cranny way up in the northern part of the state, where, you know, you certainly weren't hearing underground radio. You weren't able to just go to the record shop and buy Dave Von Ronk and Kerner Ray and Glover and Muddy Waters and you know, folk and blues.
You know, he was from northern Wisconsin, but he originated on one of the rings of Saturn. And so now, in the interest of
he and Sun Ra, yeah.
I'm going to share my screen, and
meaning what?
And there you can see El Compas del Mundo.
Al Compas. I insist. Al
Compas.
There you go. Get your.
I just want to tell everybody that Jim Haas has been doing a radio show called El Compas del Mundo.
There you go. You got it.
It's live on Thursdays, and that's on RadioactivaTX.org. Do you know what time it is, Greenwich Mean Time, for that show?
What does Greenwich Mean Time mean? Boston
That's the
time?
Universal clock for the world.
Yeah, but it's situated where? All I know, okay, East Coast
Meridian,
which beats the hell out of me. I don't know where that is either. So Boston time, London. East Coast time, it's at 10 o'clock. on
Eastern
Thursday
time.
night. Yeah, 7 o'clock West Coast time. And then the show is repeated Saturday at 6 o'clock Boston. No, 4 o'clock Boston time, 1 o'clock West Coast.
How did you get into this particular gig? I know you've done radio before, but how did El Compas del Mundo come to be?
I've been, totally bathed in music for years and years and years, you know that. And my wife Claudia, who's from Mexico, and I have a home that we built down in the town of Tequisquiapan, a smallish town in the center of Mexico, charming little place. And we spent half the year there, driving around the streets of Tequis and beyond. We would come across this radio station that was playing great atypical music, especially from Mexico. I mean, you'd hear great jazz and alternative rock music, followed by a Latin folk music, by experimental sounds. I mean, it was all over the map. And I found out who was putting it together, who was running it, and contacted them and said, geez, here I am in your town. I'm carrying with me a portable hard drive with over 40,000 pieces of music. And I've done programs before, back in Madison, back in the day. I DJ on occasion in a record shop in San Francisco. And I've got 21 YouTube playlists up on their site. And boy, well, I'd love to put a program together for you. And we had a meet, talked it over, and they liked what they heard. And said, yeah, please give us a program. And that was, as of this week, 58 weeks ago.
And the effort here is, and congratulations on that first anniversary. Every business, it's great to get to that first threshold, you know? Can you see here, I have one of the earliest shows we put on, we sort of co-host on a blog spot. This one was music in French. Can you see that?
I can. It's program number 37. Yeah. So I mean, you've
Orchestra Polirritmo de Cotuno. What can you say about that or any of the things in the mix?
Well, I mean, I'd have to take a look at the rest of the mix, but let me see what was
Steve Riley.
That was your typical potpourri. Okay, that goes all over the map. All over the map. Yves Simon, which was sort of a early rocker, rapper, poet, and from France. Les Négresses Vertes, also from France, a radical bunch of North Africans and Parisians who threw some intelligent rock out there. A lot of good stuff in this program. What can I tell you? The Orchestra Polirritmo de Cotonou comes from Benin, and I think I made a comment even in either this. I always do a little write up about the music for the week, and I'm not reading here, so maybe in some other review where I also had music from Benin. A crazy amount of really fine, intelligent, very, very listenable music has come from Benin. I mean, comparatively to other larger countries, far more.
Where is that? I don't even know.
It's right next to Nigeria, just sort of east of Nigeria. You know, the famous Benin bronzes that are now being returned by museums around the world to the Republic of Benin because they were all stolen during a British expedition back.
Was it ever known by another name, or was it part of Nigeria that spun off? Or
historically, I can't tell you if it was ever part of Nigeria, but it's been the Republic of Benin for quite some time now.
Do you remember how you found this music, or in this case, or this particular piece?
That comes from record collecting, and I've got a 2-record set that I bought in Madison back in college days. That was music of West Africa, and it was sort of, I want to use the word experimental, but non-traditional, sort of new wave West African music. And it included several cuts by people from Benin, and particularly this group. And I absolutely love today. If you ask me to list maybe my 10 favorite songs, one of them would be a song from these guys. And then then you start
I
finding
remember
everything
you.
online.
Yeah, of course, a lot of people know a lot of stuff these days. I mean, the Ethiopian music has gotten a lot of attention, and that's
Mhm.
I think partly because of well, the Harvey Pecker movie and the can't think of the I think it was Fish or something. There was a couple of movies, but I was at your house and you went to see Barry Bonds with the family, and I stayed up in the house, and that's when I discovered that one,
Oh, you waited
the
through the
Ethiopian
records. Good.
music. The,
Take advantage.
the, the Ethiopics was a
Uh-huh.
series. Yeah.
Yep. You know what's a fascinating aside is that I met Claudia in 1976 when I lived in Mexico for a year. And one thing we had in common, which was rather remarkable, is we had both dated Ethiopians. And she had music that her then boyfriend had recorded by holding two tape recorders side by side.
I used
And
to do that. Yeah.
yeah. And I had some recordings that a friend who had extravagant taste had provided me. And so we would get off on that.
And
Anyway,
this Claudia, you've continued to talk with her over these years?
this Claudia is standing about 15 feet away from me, hopefully not overhearing it. Well, no,
Well,
she would take pride
hey,
in fact.
so can you see? Can you see? I'm going to just scan up
There's
and
another one. Okay.
give you all the different things. There was the music from Southern Africa.
Well, Southern and Northern
Then
Africa in one program.
yeah. Oh, and what? Yeah, North and South. I remember that. Of course, the music of Spain. Uh,
That's a great
one, I
photo,
guess.
isn't it? That one right there that you just passed up. The black and white one of the people dancing. Sad. It's
Once
a
upon.
fabulous photo, tragic. Once upon a time in Tehran. I'm not gonna extol the virtues of the Shah Pahlavi of Iran back in the day, but at least people were free to get up and dance and enjoy the music that moved them. And there's a
Especially
dance
women.
party. Oh yeah, and there's the dance party where everybody's almost naked, as you can see, shaking their booty.
You that was one. Yeah, I remember you did one that was on sort of the punk music of our day, you know, the Seeds and
Yeah, that was
13th Floor Elevator, and yeah, you're always on the cutting edge, I think.
rock music. Well, there's Ornette Coleman, as you say, cutting edge. I just bask in the glory of these people who have provided amazing sounds for us and continue to expand their horizons, even if they're past. You know, we discover the music 30 years later, and my God, I love that photo too, Jack. The Washport Sam Memorial in Boston. That's great.
That's my joke.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, I'm moving quickly here because the clock on the wall says it's time to get on the ball, y'all. Who are these lovely Bolivian cholitas?
Cholitas. They are part of a boxing team out of the Andean regions in Bolivia, and they're showing strutting their stuff and wearing typical hats and shawls that help define their cultural identity.
I think they got one of those from Lou Costello. So yeah, and now we're just kind of going up old Big Walter, and boy, there's so much, and we want people to know. It's all up there. Jim's going to continue to do it. The Albanian music. I really wanted to make fun of this, but I thought I didn't want to hurt anybody's feeling because I thought these guys were kind of hilarious. Yeah. Some of it is like bluegrass, no? And then these
these guys are great.
Here,
Otavo, the ragamuffin bunch sitting there.
Yeah.
They're really good. They're great musicians. They play wonderful folk music and extend it in their own inimitable way. And the videos are worth fun, worth watching. They're fun. They're enjoyable. They're cleverly crafted. These guys are worth paying attention to. Otavo Oy.
Well, put another dime in the jukebox, Jimmy, and let's just it was nice to try to hook up and kind of go through all this. There's so much, and it's all available on El Compas del Musico.
El Compas del
Compas
Mundo.
del Mundo. Sorry.
Jim Haas and RadioactivaTX.
And also on Blogspot. So yeah, I'd like to go on, but I am going to say sayonara. I'd like to show you around the house, but you have a great holiday, and we'll keep crunching in 2023.
Jack, love you like a brother, and I thank you over and over again for your efforts in helping promote this and make this happen.
Well, I appreciate you giving me a chance to.
You're a keeper as a friend.
And you too. Every day is different, isn't it?
Fully, completely, 100%.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, Jack. Bye-bye.
Let's see if we can.
Yes, it is, but I guess he feels cold downstairs. And